Okay, so I want to pick up where we left off. We did this problem, and then I want to do this one. All right, on this guy, we can take out a 4, and then the smallest x is an x6, and they don't have a y. So we took out the 4, we took out the x6, so now we have a y cubed. 64 divided by 4 is 16x minus sign. Hang on. I feel like there's something else, but I guess not. Like, I'm sure this is how y'all are feel doing a test, right? You're like, oh, I totally got this. Do, 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 do. And then you're like, whoa, brick wall. You're like, what happened to all my brain cells? Wait, hang on. Okay, I mean, there's 16 is nothing. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. 16 is nothing. All right, we can't. Oh, buddy. Okay, that's all we can do there. Okay, I feel like there should be more, but I guess not. 16 isn't a perfect cube. Like, the perfect cubes are 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. Blah, 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 blah. And 4 wasn't 1, so I couldn't have broken it up that way. All right, well, I guess we're good there. All right, so a lot of students get confused on this. I just kind of wanted to review this. All right, when you're solving, and it's just like x equals a number. Okay, like here, when you're solving and it's just x, so like 2x plus 9 equals 21. Your purpose is to get x by itself. Like here, we would subtract 9. So we get 2x equals 12. And then we would divide by 12, and we would get x equals 6. All right? And so we want the ABCs equal to 1, 2, 3 when we're solving. Okay? When it's x squared or x cubed or whatever, and there's more than one type of x, okay, in there, you need to set it equal to 0 and solve it, okay? So for example, like x squared plus 9x plus 20, and then solve it. You can't move these guys over to the other side. We would factor it, and we'd say, hey, what multiplies to give me 20, adds to give me 9, 5 and 4. So I do x plus 5, x plus 4 equals 0. So that's 0. And then we would do x plus 5 equals 0, x plus 4 equals 0. So I get x equals -5, x equals -4. And those would be my two answers. And I get two answers because of that x squared. If it said x cubed, I would do some stuff and I would get 3 answers. Here it's just a single x, so I get a single answer. So if there's two types of variables, like x squared and x, like the one we just did, then we set equal to 0 and we solve it. So normally we factor it, or later in the semester we'll learn a couple other ways to solve it. If there's only one type of variable, like just an x, like this guy, or here, just an x squared, then we want the ABCs to equal to 1, 2, 3s. All right, I cannot express this enough. So many people get confused on it. So here, we've not learned how to do this. I'm going to solve this. These types of problems we're going to learn to solve later. All right, first we're going to divide by 2. Get x squared equals 9. And then to get rid of a square, you do a square root. And the square root of 9 is 3 or -3. So you get plus and minus 3. Again, that's your answer for this guy. These kinds of problems where it's x squared by itself, we're going to learn how to solve later in the semester. But I just kind of want to reiterate, when x is by itself, you want x equal to a number. When x squared is by itself, you want x equal a number. Okay? When you've got a mix together, like x squared and an x, you set it equal to 0 and you solve it, normally by factoring. So here, we want to solve this, so we need to set it equal to 0. So I'm going to move that 5x over and solve it. Okay, so here they both have an x, so I'm going to take it out. So I get x minus 5 equals 0. And then we have two factors and equals 0. So I'm going to set each factor equal to 0 and solve. So when x is by itself or x squared is by itself, we want that to equal the number. When it isn't alone, like x squared and an x, we want to set it equal to 0. So we get x equals 0, and then here we'll add to 5 both sides, and we get 5. So you cannot, x and x squared can't talk. It's like you and your cousin. Y'all are from the same family, but y'all really should not be hanging out. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so put them on the same side and then factor out what they have in common and set it equal to 0. Let's do another one like that. Right here. So everything should be on the same side. Minus 10 equals 0. And x squared should always be positive. Okay. So the rule is if there's a number right here, then we do the first times the last, so we get 40. So we need something to multiply to give me 40. Add to give me 3. This is negative 10, so I need negative 40. How about 8 and 5? This 3 is positive, so that means 8 is positive, so 5 is negative. Let's try this. 8 times negative 5, negative 40. 8 plus negative 5, negative 3. All right, so instead of writing x plus 8, x minus 5, which is what we do if there's no number right here, we're going to write 4x squared plus 8x from this guy minus 5x from that guy. Notice 8x minus 5x is 3x. And then we have this minus 10 equals 0. So we're going to do factor by grouping. So 4x squared and 8x. So you have a 4 and an x. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. You have an x squared and you took out an x. You have an x left over. Plus sign. 8 divided by 4, 2. So he has to be x plus 2. So negative 5x, and you just have an x. So let's see if it's negative 5. Negative 5 times x, negative 5x. Negative 5 times 2, negative 10. Great. All right, I'm coming over here. All right, 4x minus 5. So I'm going to write that. 4x minus 5. And then I have that x plus 2. And then remember it equaled 0. So I'm going to set each of these. 4x minus 5 equals 0. X plus 2 equals 0. So I get x equals negative 2. Whoa, what happened? What just happened there? All right, I get x equals 2. Put that like away. Here, I need to add 5. So I get 4x equals 5. And I need to divide by 4. So I get x equals 5/4. So I get two answers, negative 2 and 5/4, because of that squared right there. Okay, so this, remember, this is the advanced one. This is like the harder problems. That was really hard. In case anybody was wondering. Right, let's do this guy. So x squared needs to stay positive, so I need to move everything over to where that 6x squared is. So that negative 12x, I'm going to add it to both sides. And that 144, I'm going to subtract it to both sides. All right, 6, 12, and 144. I can just take the 6 out. I get x squared plus 2x minus, I know it goes in there, 24. All right, so I need to, I'm just looking in the parentheses right now. All right, and there's no number touching the x squared. There's a parentheses between the x squared and the number. So really there's no number literally sitting next to the x squared. So I need to figure out what multiplies to give me negative 24, adds to give me 2. Well, 4 times 6 works, and that 2 is positive, so that means 6, the bigger number, is positive. So let's try that. Negative 4 times 6, negative 24. Negative 4 plus 6, 2. also randomly. I'm left-handed, hence why my check marks are backwards. All right, so just for this inside, remember there's no number right there. So I can write x minus 4, x plus 6, and then I have this guy, 6 equals 0. And we're solving. These are the factors right here. So I'm going to set each factor equal to 0. Okay, well 6 will never equal 0 in any world, so just ignore it. And then here, x minus 4 equals 0. I'm going to add 4 to both sides, so I get positive 4. Okay, and then here, I'm going to subtract 6 on both sides, so I get negative 6. So I get 2 answers, not 3 answers. I get 2 answers because of that squared right there. That was all right. So that's like as hard as it's going to get for the advanced polynomials and special products. Okay. So let's go on to the next. Go do your homework, your practice work, and then let's go on to the next video.